Alright guys, it is once again time. Boom! Battle box. If you guys have been watching my videos, you know how much I love these. There's awesome stuff in every single one. And this one is literally like bulging. So it's not too heavy, but it's big and it's like busting open. So we'll get in here and see what they got. Sure, it'll be great. I highly recommend if you guys have the extra income to get one of these. If you're interested in like building up a supply of gear or just having more cool gear, I've never been disappointed with any of these. They're fantastic. I've gotten tons of stuff that I haven't really wouldn't have necessarily thought about getting. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, nice. Kelly kettle. These are great for boiling water really quickly using as little energy as possible, with a built-in kind of like a wood stove, kind of almost like a rocket stove kind of built into the bottom. And it basically is a little stainless steel rocket stove where the bottle is a chimney built, or the part of the bottle that holds the water is around the chimney portion, so it heats it up really quickly instead of just right at the bottom. The water's fairly thin around the edges, so it heats up quickly. I actually have one of these, so maybe I will be selfish and keep this, hoard it for the apocalypse, or maybe I'll give this away to somebody, one of you guys. We'll see. Next up is a little baby hatchet. Feels like it's got a pretty sharp edge. I kind of I'm dubious of the utility of such a tiny little, it has no weight to it, you know, so you could still chop more so than you could with a knife, but instead of carrying this and a knife, you might just baton or something, but you could use it to pound 10 steaks. So maybe not a bad idea to have. We'll back up for the zombies. I'm already getting like a camping or backwoods camping type feel for the theme of this. Ooh, this is let's see what we got here. Looks like almost like a camera lens, but some kind of, oh, I think it's some kind of LED lantern. Interesting. Has a handle on this pop-up lantern. 300 lumen lantern, or 35 lumen, 120 lumen spotlight, 15 lumen spotlight. Oh yeah, it's got a light on the bottom as well. So 2 lights built in. You got the lantern, you got the light, and it looks like it might have a compartment in the top, but it might just be for batteries. Yeah, batteries. So it has batteries in there. Let's see what I need to do to turn this bitch on. I thought they just supposed to come on when you... Oh, there we go. It's got a button. Hold it. Let's see what happens. That's really bright. So if that's closed, then it turns on the light. Cool. Has a little instruction booklet here. To activate the lantern, press 1, press again. To activate the spotlight, close the lantern. Dimming features. Press and hold the power button for 3 seconds to dim. Okay, so we got our, it's on. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there, it just dims, and then it blinks when it's dim. The camera, because of the frame rate, is making this look like it's flashing. It's not in real life. And this automatically closes off, as you can see. Pretty cool. A little big, you know, for a light of that kind if you're just going camping, but definitely useful. Especially, I love going camping. Don't get to do it too often, but when I have gone, one of the things that is always useful is a light that you can sit there while you're doing things like cleaning up for your food, or brushing your teeth, and doing, you know, shaving or whatever. Anything you need to do like that, preparation when there's low light. Flashlights are great, even the headlamps are great, but it's very useful sometimes to have something that you can just sit there and will light a wide area. One of the things that I am most happy with and use the most when we go on these camping trips is just a regular propane lantern. They're big, kind of awkwardly shaped, but the ability to just light up a whole big area with bright, even light is important. So something like this is very useful. And this is a lot smaller and less fragile than a propane lantern with the glass, the mantles, things like that. Here we have a collapsible, got some static cling. The static out here in Vegas is mad, man. I've always had like weird static charges on my body where I just get electrocuted constantly, and even in some place like Florida where it's fairly humid, it was bad. But here in Vegas, it's another level, man. I get just zapped. You can hear it popping when I'll touch like car doors and doorknobs and rails. It's ridiculous. I have to be careful with the gas pump. I'm going to blow myself up. This is a 5-gallon water carrier. These are great to have because if you watch stuff like, I know it's stupid to plan anything off movies, but it does make you think. So when you watch these things like The Walking Dead or these survival movies, they never have an ability to carry any kind of water. So yeah, you have like your canteen or your Camelback, but you would really, in a bug-out bag or a bug-out vehicle or something like that, you really need something like this for if you do come across a water source. Like if you're traveling and you come across a river, it doesn't matter how great and vast the water source is if you only have the ability to carry a liter or 100 ounces with you. You need the ability to stock up anytime you do come across a good water source. Or if you are doing something like purifying water with boiling, you don't want to have to do that every day. You want to be able to get a water, purify a lot of it at once, store it in something like this. These are also good just for around the house. You can store a few of these, and then in the event of something like a hurricane, when everyone else is running to the grocery store to buy bottled water, you can just fill up one of these with your tap. And then even if you don't want to drink tap water, certainly it's fine for an emergency. And then afterwards, if nothing happens, you can dump it out or whatever. So very useful. Good for a car, kit, things like that. Here we have an axe handle. That I don't think maybe there's an axe blade in here somewhere, but for now it's just a handle. Really lightweight, but still solid. See if they got any other parts to that, if I'm gonna have to build my own. Here we have some kind of kit. Looks like a mini first aid kit. Outdoor skin protection kit. So I'm guessing we'll have like bug spray, maybe anti-itch, maybe moleskins. Okay, here we got some anti-ivy, poison oak formula, some kind of antihistamine cream. Got a couple of those. And then out here in the desert, I'm so glad we don't deal with that stuff. Poison ivy and everything. It's big back in Florida. It's all sorts of itchy plants. If you want to see a crazy video, speaking of crazy plants, look up the a video of the gimpy plant in Australia. It's like the craziest, most painful plant in existence. Bug X towelettes, that's important. Pretty much everywhere. Again, not nearly as bad out here. I love not being swarmed with mosquitoes. Just a general anti-itch cream. Sting relief. You get stung by a bee or a wasp, maybe a scorpion, something like that. Hand sanitizer, a couple packets of that. A burn gel, that's important too for minor burns. Got a few of those. Just general first aid stuff, nothing crazy. Got some sunscreen in there. But these are the things that you use most often, is the little stuff. So we got a utility towelette and lotion for sunscreen. More wipes, and then we have some sunscreen lip balm, chapstick. Cool. So not a bad little kit, all related to skin protectant from irritants, not just general protection like some moleskin or something like that, which would prevent blisters. This is all related to anti-itch and burns and things like that, antiseptic. So this might be actually good just to take it apart and use the individual components in another more comprehensive first aid kit. Or just to throw this whole little pouch in a bigger first aid kit that you already have the gauze pads and the tourniquets and any sort of medicines or anything like that. All this stuff is very useful. And this has a little pouch with little bungees in there if you need to put something else. Survival eye shield. I don't know if these are some collapsible snow goggles or something of some kind. yeah, basically, it's sunglasses. That's pretty cool. That just fold out. Basically, a piece of tinting, thick film tinting, that you can just wear with the bungee in an emergency. A lot more, or a lot less fragile than a pair of sunglasses. Obviously, you can roll it up and takes up a whole lot less space. Great as a backup, especially if you're going to be somewhere. Comes with a little cloth too, where either out here, super bright like the desert, or somewhere where there's a lot of snow. And you can actually, even when it's not particularly bright, having whiteness all around, you can actually hurt your vision. Or somewhere where it's particularly windy and there's might be dust or water spray or something like that. Anything you need to protect your eyes. Pretty cool. I like that. Something I hadn't seen before and probably wouldn't have thought of. That's why I like these boxes. Because obviously I know you need sunglasses, but the idea of, I would have just have thrown a cheap pair in there and hope it didn't get smashed. You know, and this takes up very little space. It's going to be protected in here, even if it does get sat on or whatever. It's just a piece of film. It's unlikely to be broken. Pretty cool. Let's see what this is. Some kind of a puffy thing. Let's see if it's a sleeping bag. Yep. Fairly small sleeping bag, probably for warmer climates. Ooh, it feels soft though. It's like fleece. Yeah, fleece sleeping bag. So it's a lighter weight, obviously not for being in a blizzard, but it doesn't take up very much space, as you can see. And it feels very comfortable. So a great thing for a car kit or light camping. Like it a lot. Or something like this is good to even keep in your car, because even in a non-shit-the-fan scenario, if you have to sleep in like someone's floor or a really crappy hotel room, sometimes you'll get somewhere and that's the only option. Maybe your car broke down or something, and the place looks really janky. You don't want to touch their sheets. You can just bust out something like this, sleep, and still use the bed for the padding, but you know, just sleep on top of the sheets, so you don't get the bed bugs or the whatever other crusties are on there. So definitely useful, especially for someone that small. All right, last bit. The blade. One of the best parts of these. This is by Klecker Knives and Tools, which I don't think I've heard of that brand. Let's see, I'll let you guys see it before I do. How's it look? Can't see it. All right, we got a. Oh, this looks like the axe head. In a canvas or nylon canvas sheath with Velcro. And this is a tool that has different size wrenches in here, a strap cutter or skinning tool here. It has the regular axe blade. It has what appears to be another blade for finer work here, or even other types of splitting. It's got a sticker on there so you don't cut yourself. Make sure you're aware of it. And then it has a carabiner clip here. And then this is how it attaches, I believe, to the handle. Right? See if we can figure this out. I believe these come out like this. I'll loosen it. This is spring loaded, so we'll turn it. And that has spots on there. There's a pin inside here that there's a notch. I don't know if I show you that. This is spring loaded, so you can see that there's a pin in there, and that goes inside the hole there. And then this tightens down, which clamps these, which has a built-in knot. And I would use a multi-tool or something to probably try to crank that down pretty tight if I was actually going to do any chopping. But that's pretty cool, especially considering that you can pack this up a lot more in a much more compact way by taking this apart. Or you can certainly even, if this were to break, you could carve, it won't have the little peg in there, but you could carve a stick in a way that there was at least that groove there and the notch here, and at least make, and then combined with lashing it on maybe with some shoelaces or something like that, you could replace this handle fairly easily if you needed to. So even if in like an emergency bag or whatever, you just wanted to include the axe head, I wouldn't recommend that necessarily. This thing is pretty light. That's pretty cool. And that's fairly lightweight as far as hatchets go. And it's got a graduations on here, so you can kind of use that as measuring if you want. These are marked with the different sizes. Like I said, you got the strap cutting tool here, a blade here, and the main blade. Pretty cool. And then this doesn't look like it's designed to be a hammer, but it is a flat metal portion. If you needed to do some light tapping, things like that, certainly seems like it would work. And it's easy. I was able to figure this out and get it on here without having to read any instructions or anything like that. So that is always good. And then to fold it flat, this is spring loaded, so you just push it towards there and they go flat. Same with this one, I gotta loosen it up. Loosen it up until it can spin and then tighten it back up again. Bam, then you got it back in your sheath, which you could presumably still use the sheath once the handle's on. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe not, I'm not sure. It looks like there's enough space, but there might not be quite enough space for the handle to come out. And then it also comes with the box. Fits in there pretty cool. The clacks. See what they say about it. Oh man, I'm tearing this thing up. Yeah, it tells you how to actually make a new handle here, I think. If you need to. It tells you how to put it on the included or factory-made handle, and it also has instructions on how to make a handle, which is cool. So if you want to keep this with that in a kit, pretty interesting. Cool deal. Now let's see what the included literature says, because as I suspect, it's just got to be a camping, backwoods camping theme. The sit rep is home away from home. Anytime is a great time for camping, whether it's a short solo trip, hunting trip, long-term community camp, or a bug-out situation. Base camp is your home away from home. That is, being that it is home away from home, one should always choose a solid location for a base camp in consideration of the trip at hand. It should be comfortable, convenient, and safe. Take some time to ensure you have the ultimate base camp so that you'll enjoy every minute of your trip. Camping or staying out in the elements in any form can easily become miserable if a few creature comforts are not considered. Yep. All right, cool, man. I really like this one. Like I said, this is a great kit if you don't have any camping gear. It's a nice, solid base for a camping trip. You need your tent and a few other minor things, and you're pretty close to being ready to go. Like I said, this is the one that I would probably say has the least utility. I do like it, but I just don't know how useful a hatchet this small is, because it doesn't have the weight to really do any serious log splitting, and at the same time, it doesn't have the utility of a knife. What it does seem like it would be good for is chopping things like notches into pegs and things like that, because that's relatively hard with a knife, because it's not really a way that you can do batoning, but they don't have even the weight of this, which has, about maybe a pound, probably not even, but close to a pound weight, and it's all concentrated in the head. So definitely like it, but like I said, I'm not sure about how useful that would really be. Definitely not a bad thing. And the Kelly kettle is legit. You should definitely, guys, look into a situation like that where they're big, for something like a bug out bag, but they're very lightweight, and there's just no comparison to how easily you can boil water in a situation like this. And also, you can even use the top as a pot support that I mentioned here. So while you're boiling the water, you can put another pot on top of the kettle and cook or pan and cook your food. So it does double duty with the same small amount of fuel that it would normally take probably more to just boil water or just cook your food. You can do both at the same time with even less fuel than it would take to individually do one or the other. So these are great. Definitely a good get in the box here. I'll test out some of this stuff like the lantern a little bit more. Like I said, I think these are a little large. I think you can get away with lanterns that are a lot smaller than this nowadays, but it's useful. So, and the format is useful that you can just set it there like that. Because some of the other ones that I've shown before would have to have been hung up somehow, or you turn it upside down so it's just kind of shining everywhere and doesn't throw the same light. And it does the fact that it has a built-in flashlight as well is useful. So I would like to see a better way. It does have the thing here and this, but a better way to hang it straight up and down would probably be useful too. Just as something as simple as a little clip or carabiner or loop there would probably be better, but we'll see. That's the Nebo Poppy. It's about thicker than it's about the size of a can of soup, bigger than a soda can. It's about the size of a can of beans or a can of soup. So that was it, guys. That was the March Battle Box. Love it as usual. Check them out. BATTLBOX. There's no E. And enjoy. Thanks for watching.